Welcome back to our Sharon Svasamas Parshas Vayechei Tavshin Peivav. When Yaakov Avinu was giving the brachas at the end of his life to all of the Shvatim, Yaakov Avinu gives the bracha to Yehuda of Gur Aryeh Yehuda, comparing Yehuda to a lion not just in his physical strength, but in his spiritual strength as well. Yehuda is like a lion, Gur Aryeh Yehuda. And then Yaakov Avinu continues with interesting words. Kira Ravatz Ka'ari Ukalavi Miya Kamenu. That Yehuda goes ahead and acts like a lion who's sitting there and crouching on the ground. And the Shalvas Vasemes, and Rashi really deals with this, and many of the Rishonim and Mefarshim deal with this, is what is the Maila of Yaakov Avinu comparing Yehuda to a lion that's crouching? We can understand Yaakov Avinu comparing Yehuda to a lion that's attacking, a lion that's in the middle of running after its prey, a lion that's able to show off its strength. That would make sense to us, that's a sign, that's symbolism of real strength. But what does it mean that Yaakov Avinu compares Yehuda to a lion that's lying there, waiting to go ahead and attack its prey? Kara Ravetz Ka'ari, that you're like a lion that's going ahead and crouching. Zakta Heligas Vasemis, in the year Taf Reish Nun Aleph, a beautiful taich, and the name of his grandfather, the Helig Chadusha Rim. Amar Moiri Vizikni Zeichat Sadik HaKadosh Avracha. Ki Koichoi Shel Yehuda, the strength, the spiritual strength of Yehuda, Afilu B'Shah Shiflus, Shehu Sheichev, even at the moment of shiflus, even at the moment that he's been beaten down and is on the ground, not just physically, but spiritually, Yehuda finds himself all the way in the bottom. Hu ka'ari ukalavi. He nevertheless has the capability to act like a lion and like a lioness. Says this Vasemis in the name of the Chadusha Rim that you have to go ahead and read the pasuk not in the typical way, not to read it as like he's a lion that is crouching, but rather to read it is that even when he is crouching, even when he's kara ravitz, even when he's on the ground crouching, nevertheless ka'ari ukalavi, he's able to go ahead and act like a lion and a lioness. He's able to have the strength and the fortitude to go ahead and act like a lion, even though he's been beaten down. Zaktis Vasemis, what did my grandfather mean? Where do you see that Yehuda has this special power, that even when he's been beaten down, he can nevertheless act like a lion, is able to stand up and do what's right? Zakta Heligas Vasemis, by the Maisa of Yehuda and Tamar, that after Yehuda had gone ahead and been involved in the seemingly scandalous story with Tamar, his daughter-in-law, not knowing it's his daughter-in-law, thinking it's a Zaina, but after this whole story takes place, and Tamar gets brought in front of a Bezdin. And like this Vasemes brings from the Medrash, this wasn't just any Bezdin. This was a Bezdin of Yitzchak Avinu and Shem Ve'ever, the greatest tzaddikim, Yehuda's grandfather, sitting there in the Bezdin. And they take Tamar out, and they're about to go ahead and burn Tamar alive because of the fact that she went ahead and they thought she was Mizana. And Yehuda sees at that moment that it wasn't Tamar going to be Mizana to a stranger, rather it was him. And Yehuda has the fortitude and the strength and the ability to be able to stand up and say, Tzadka mimenu, that mimeni, it came from me, I was the one. These are my chasim, this is my chasima, this is my signs that I sent to Tamar, and therefore Yehuda is able to stand up and say, mimeni, it took place from me, and Yehuda is able to admit that what he did was wrong. Zaktas Vasam is the real strength, and the real sign of strength is not how a person acts when a person's standing tall and strong. The real sign of acting like a lion is not acting like a lion when you're attacking your prey. The ability to really be like a lion is what happens when you get knocked down. What happens when you find yourself all the way on the floor? What happens when you recognize that you may have made the biggest mistake in your life? Are you still capable of standing up strong and proud and saying, I can fix what I've done, I can go on and admit that I did wrong, and I'm not embarrassed and I'm not ashamed, and I can get up and say that I'm ready to rectify whatever wrong I've done? If you can do that, Saktas Vasamas, then you're a real lion. Yaakov Avinu tells Yehuda, you're not just a lion when you're standing tall and proud. You're not just a lion, Gibor Ka'ari, that you have the ability to be strong like a lion when things are going well. You're like a lion even when you're crouching. That even when you find yourself beaten and pummeled down on the ground, you're able to stand up without embarrassment and be able to go out and admit that Sadka Mimeni, Zak Yaakov Avinu, that is the ultimate bracha, the ultimate strength of Yehuda. And Zaktis Vasemes umized nivna Mashiach. And from this moment, the moment that Yehuda was able to stand back up and say Tzadka Mimeni, from that moment Mashiach was created. Because Mashiach is created when us Klal Yisrael is able to stand back up after having been beaten down, and we're able to go ahead and do the right thing regardless of where we find ourselves spiritually, regardless of how much we feel that we're shuffled and we've been beaten down. We can stand up like a lion, not ashamed, and be able to go ahead and be proud and be able to stand strong for what we truly believe in. Zaktas Vasemes, this is why you find that the name Yehuda contains within it the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei and the letter Daled. The Gemara in Shabbos tells us that the letter Daled represents poorness. Dal, even the way you spell out the word Daled, has a Dal in it, Daled Lamed. Daled Lamed means to be poor. And the name Daled represents a person who's all the way broken down on the ground, not poor physically, not poor financially, but somebody who's poor spiritually. Somebody who's all the way down on the ground. Ein ani elo badas, like Chazal say, the word that, the latter Dal, represents somebody who's broken. Yehuda is the one who has the capability to be able to be connected to Yud Kei Vav Kei, to the Rabbanu Shalom, even when he's down at the bottom, even when he's a dal, even when he's shuffled, even when he's been broken and is crouching like a wounded lion. Yehuda has the ability to be able to stand up and act like a lion, even if he feels he's been wounded. And Mamela, his name is Daled together with Yud Kei Vav Kei. L'chen Remes Kol Hashem Yehuda. The whole name of the Rabbanu Shalom is within Yehuda. Va'is Daled Laharois Ki Afilu Kashu Dal Hashem Imay. Even at the moment that he's dal, nevertheless the Rabbanu Shalom is with him. Zaktes Fasemes, adding on to what his grandfather said. V'yitachem Laimar. How does Yehuda have that koyach? Where does Yehuda get the strength to go ahead and act like a lion, even though he's been beaten down? Zaktis Vasamis, it comes as a direct result that when Yehuda is not being beaten down, when Yehuda is in the stage of acting like a lion who's attacking his prey, Yehuda nevertheless is able to have the chna, the humility to recognize that it's not me. Says this Vasamis, if you're able to recognize when things are going well that it's not me, then and it's all the Rabbanu Shalom, then you're able to go ahead and recognize when you're down on the ground that the same Rabbanu Shalom that was the one who created all of the good moments in your life is the same Rabbanu Shalom that's down there with you in the challenging, most difficult moments of your life. The way that Yehuda was able to have the strength of a lion, even when he was beaten down, was with the koyach of humility. As we've written in the name of his grandfather, he's called Yehuda because again he goes out as mamayit himself. That even though the name of the Rabbanu Shalom is within him, nevertheless Yehuda is able to go ahead and act humble and never takes any credit for himself. And since Yehuda knows that after everything he's done and all the milas that he has, at the moment that he really feels like a lion, Gur Arya Yehuda, Shakol Hashem Yisbarach, everything's from the Rabbanu Shalom, who shuffle ba'einav, lachein schoroi, shagamshu neifel, that even when he falls, Hashem Imai, the Rabbanu Shalom is dear with him. This is the koyach of Yehuda. This is the strength of Yehuda, the ability to be able to go ahead, and when he's a lion, attacking, he's able to recognize it's not me. Al says the Rabbanu Shalom, everything is a gift from the Rabbanu Shalom, and then Mida Keneged Mida, when he finds himself down and broken, he's able to go out and stand up and recognize that no matter what I've done, no matter where I've messed up, no matter how bad my life may be spiritually right now, I can nevertheless still act like a lion. I can stand back up and be able to go ahead and act like a lion, regardless of the fact that I feel like I'm crouching right now. Zaktes Vasemes V'chol B'nei Yisrael Nikru Yehudim Al Shmai. Yehudim, every Yid is called a Yid because a Yid is in the name of Yehuda. She's a Koichan Shavana Yisrael. This is the Koich of Klal Yisrael. Shema Mayit Atzman. That Klal Yisrael never goes ahead and takes credit for herself and never says we're the ones Koich of Aitzim Yadei Chalila. Remind ourselves. We recognize that even at the moment that we feel like a lion in terms of what we're doing, it's not us. It's only with Siyata Deshmaya. Vashem Imahem Afilu Be'esa Tzar Vashiflos. And then because of that, Mida Keneged Mida, the Rabbanu Shalom is with us even in those moments. Those most embarrassing moments when we find ourselves crouching on the floor like a wounded lion. Nevertheless, the Rabbanu Shalom is with us. This is the koich of Yehuda. Gur Arya Yehuda, like the Sfas Emes is saying, this is the koich of every Yid, to be a lion. A lion means a lion regardless of where I am. A lion means the recognition that everything's from the Rabbanu Shalom, and the Rabbanu Shalom is with me in the high moments and in the low moments. This is a real lion. A lion is not just somebody who acts like a lion when everything is going well. A lion is somebody who has the capability to be able to stand up like Yehuda did and to say tzadkumi menu when everything's falling apart and you don't know what's going to take place and the embarrassment that's going to happen and what's going to take place with the future generations. Nevertheless, a real lion is the one who's able to take responsibility, to stand up, not to be embarrassed, and to recognize that regardless of what I've done, the Rabbanu Shalom is with me in the place that I am, and therefore the strength that I have and the character trait of being a lion will remain with me wherever I am. Hashem should help that we should be like a lion, obviously in Gur Arya Yehuda, obviously in great moments, but the real way to show that we're really a lion is to show that we're a lion, even when we're wounded, lying on the ground, physically, spiritually beaten. Nevertheless, we have the strength and the fortitude inside of us to know that the Rabbanu Shalom is with us and to act like a proper lion. And Mitzvah Hashem, by doing that, we'll be Vayechei to the Gula Ashlema, when the Rabbanu Shalom will reveal himself and Klal Yisrael's true strength will be revealed to the whole world. Have a great Shabbos.